Hey, it's Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and behold, quite figuratively and literally, the Silvergill Mentor and many new goodies that we're going to get from Lorwyn Eclipse. We got to start playtesting these cards to see which ones are going to actually sink or swim us in this competitive modern metagame. So we're gonna eventually, I'm gonna try to grind out a bunch of decks over the coming week. We're gonna look at variations of mono blue, blue white. We're gonna test a good chunk of the new blue white cards, but let's start with standard mono blue. And one of the new additions is Silvergill Mentor, a 2-mana 2/1 Merfolk Wizard. As an additional cost to cast this spell, behold a Merfolk or pay 2. And when this creature enters, create a 1/1 white and blue Merfolk creature token. I've actually been waiting for a card like this for an eternity. You know, I really envied elves and goblins. They always got like 2 creatures for like 2 mana, but Merfolk didn't have access to something like that. This would have been really useful, like, you know, somewhere between 6 to 10 years ago. I'm not going to say it's too late, but like, you know, the power level of the format is a little strong for this thing. I don't know if you know, my Silvergill Mentor is gonna stand up to, like, you know, cap a cannoneer or whatever. But you know what? I still really appreciate it, because Silvergill Mentor is going to put, like, you play turn 2 Silvergill Mentor, you get your creature, and then even if you follow it up with a brainless Lord play like Lord of Atlantis, you're swinging for 5 damage. You enable things like Vidalian Hexcatcher to be stronger, because now you just have more random stuff on the battlefield to sacrifice to help protect ourselves versus combo, or even just random removal spells. I'm not playing it in this deck list, but you could play Flare of Denial. Flare of Denial, you play your Silvergill Mentor, you can sack the Silvergill Mentor to your Flare of Denial to counter a spell, and you still have a body left over afterwards. Not to mention, yeah, I like the Silvergill Mentor. It's going to also have synergy with our Disruptor of Currents. This is a new card, 5 mana, 3/3 Flash Merfolk Wizard. It's got Convoke. When this creature enters, return up to 1 other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So this is maybe going to be better than Floodpit's Drowner. Maybe it's going to be worse. Remember, we usually live in a world where we have nothing in play. Nothing. There's not, whether we have like 1 to 2 creatures in play, or nothing in play. So even though we have the option to convoke this card, it still might be like really hard. Might be really difficult. But maybe with Silvergill Mentor, it's going to be a lot easier. And another card that we are going to be playtesting today is Champions of the Shoal. I'm really excited for this card. It's a 4 mana 4/6 Merfolk Soldier. Now, as an additional cost to cast this spell, we have to behold a Merfolk and exile it. And maybe I didn't specify what behold was for Silvergill Mentor, but behold is like, we have to show that we have a Merfolk in play or a Merfolk from our hand. In this case, we have to exile that card. So we have to exile the card in play or exile that Merfolk card from our hand. Whenever this creature enters or becomes tapped, tap up to 1 target creature and put a stun counter on it. So like when we attack with, so we can stun something down, like you, Flage. You hearing me, Flage? Could be you. And then when we attack with the Champions of the Shoal, we get to stun the card again, because when we attack, we tap it. When the creature leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card back to its owner's hand. So that could actually have some utility. For example, any of these cards right here, in fact, would work. So let's say we played Mindspring Merfolk. We drew a bunch of cards off our Mindspring Merfolk. We can go Champions of the Shoal. And then if it dies, we get our Mindspring Merfolk back to our hand. We can redeploy it and then draw more cards again. Same thing with like Floodpit's Drowner to tap something down, draw another card with Silvergill Adapt, or even get more creatures with Silvergill Mentor. Yeah, it's going to be pretty interesting. I think this is going to be a very interesting card. I'm hoping for something. By the way, it's a 4/6 creature. It's a 4/6 creature that's big. It's bigger than big. Those stupid decks that, you know, those Eldrazi decks that play Dismember. We finally have something that doesn't die to Dismember. I don't know if that's even the biggest problem for us. Anyway, okay, so, and then I have just I don't even know what should be in the sideboard. I don't even know if we're going to be up against a reasonable metagame in this league, because everyone's going to be playtesting stuff, so don't worry about the result. What we're trying to learn about is how these cards feel. Do they feel good? Do they feel bad? Are they clunky? Are they working? Are they not? Because everyone's going to be doing a lot of goofy stuff for the first few weeks, and then afterwards it'll go back to the regular powerful metagame, and we'll know exactly which cards are are good to continue into the future. Make no mistake, some of them will be. Okay, some will succeed. Let's get into round 1. Here for round 1, we won the die roll. Hand is okay. It, like, curves into our stuff, and we're going to keep it. But turn 1, we have nothing to do. Turn 2, we'll play, like, a Master of the Pearl Trident. Turn 3, we are going to curve into a Harbinger of the Seas, if that matters. I'm afraid this is a mirror, and I'm going to get stomped. Oh, no. Okay, we're in the mirror. So Master of the Pearl Trident should be good. Okay, well, just in case we actually are in the mirror, I'm going to start this game off with a Gloom Lake Verge. I think our deck should be fine in the mirror. Okay, they got the Ether Vial. That's not good for us. What do we have? Okay, we have Disruptor of Currents, which actually can reset the Ether Vial. I'm going to play another Gloom Lake Verge. I'm just not going to reveal that we have a Cavern of Souls yet. Not going to reveal it. What do you want to do? You want to play a Subtlety on my Master of the Pearl Trident? You know what's interesting, what we could do is we can play Harbinger of the Seas on turn 3, but then play Champions of the Shoal and exile the Harbinger of the Seas. Theoretically. That's a line. Okay, they got their own Cavern of Souls. They have their own Master of the Pearl Trident. So, well, I don't plan on blocking. So what I'm going to do, hold on. Okay, what are my options here? If I attack and there's a 1-drop, this is a bit awkward. Because if there's a 1-drop in my opponent's hand, let's say it was a Dock hand, let's say it's Merfolk, let's say it's Mindspring Merfolk, there's a big incentive to block the Master of the Pearl Trident. So the thing, but if I had just attack, it's very possible I have Hexcatcher. I guess I should just do nothing at the moment. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna play this thing, which is gonna be sad. Oh, actually, am I gonna do nothing? Maybe I'm gonna attack. Maybe it's actually best they attack here. If there is a Mindspring Merfolk, like, I can't block that thing. Okay, there is nothing gonna happen. Yet. Nothing's happening to us yet. And I need to play this thing so, well, partially so I can curve out with Disruptor and Champion of the Shoal. Because I need to behold some sort of Merfolk here. Warlock Grove shut down. Uncounterable cards also shut down. And no 1-drop, so we're the first one with an Island Walker. It's the mirror. It is the mirror indeed. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is interesting. So it'd be really nice if I go Lord of Atlantis and then at the right time play Champions of the Shoal and exile my Lord of Atlantis as part of casting that card. That would not be too bad. That would be pretty cool. Now, outside of that, I think what we're going to do is we're going to attack for 3. I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to attack for 3. Or do I hoof? No, I don't think we can go for the Lord of Atlantis play right now. That sounds insane. It sounds like a little too crazy. A little too crazy to me. Oh, there is a problem with this. I should have played my land. If there's like a, I don't know, some bounce card to my Master of the Pearl Trident, that would be a problem. So I don't want to put my island in play just yet. So I'm going to play this Cavern of Souls, even though it's going to be dumped. Is there any value to playing this Champion of the Shoal right now? I could. And then I tap down this... What do I tap down? Harbinger of the Seas? And it's just like this gigantic creature, right? Or do I go upkeep and then bounce this vial. You know what? I think I actually want to bounce the vial. So we're just going to go for an end of turn play. Well, like, if they don't want to put anything in play, that's fine with me. Okay, so are we going to battle it out here? What kind of counter spells can you have? Basically nothing. Well, I mean, Flare of Denial, I guess. There could be a Flare of Denial. So the idea was that if I passed the turn in the Activate Vial, I would play Disruptor of Currents on my turn. Instead, they put nothing in play with their Vial, so I will, by all means, go to my opponent's turn. Maybe they were afraid I had, what's it called, Tishana's Tidebinder. That might have prevented them from activating their Vial. But anyway, I'm just going to go to their turn and now bounce the Vial. And if they have got no 2-drop, then I guess they're in a bit of an awkward spot right here. Oh, they do have Flare of Denial. Okay, that's fine. That was the easiest Flare of Denial of all time. I mean, what else are you going to use it on? Now that I think about it, maybe it was just appropriate to bounce the Vial immediately on my turn. Ooh, we have Consigned to Memory. What is that going to do? It's going to do something. Probably. Okay, let's attack for... I can also play Champion and show a Lord in my hand. That also works. You didn't have anything before. Would you have anything now? What's the difference? Attack for 3. Oh no, I'm just going to attack for 3. They didn't tick the Vial up, which feels really awkward to me. But whatever. They didn't tick the Vial up. Did I miss out on some damage? So next we will play Champion. I think we're going to play Champion of the Shoal. Cancel. Maybe we're going to play this. Play land. Champion of the Shoal. I'll behold the Lord of Atlantis in our hand. And I guess I'm going to tap down the Harbinger of the Seas. This is a big Island Walker. This is a 5/7. So what I'm sort of gathering, right? I'm trying to figure out what's in my opponent's head, or what's in their hand. My opponent's like, I've been thinking about testing out Shoal, just worried about it rotting in hand. Nope. Awesome looking card. I heard, I don't know what it is, but I've heard a lot of antagonizing about the Champions of the Shoal. Like, this is really powerful. Like, it's really, really powerful. I don't think 4 mana is that expensive. It's expensive, don't get me wrong. But I don't think it's that expensive. I think it's still somewhat reasonable, and the fact that it's just a huge body compensates for its clunkiness. Super compensates. I'm hoping it compensates. So our opponent has a Tide Shaper in hand with Silvergill Adept. We don't have... Ooh, that's weird. You don't activate the Ether Vial, so that means you have like other things in hand. So anyway, it's going to enter the battlefield. I don't have a whole lot of value to get from this Consigned to Memory, or do I? Let's see, this is a 3-drop. This is going to how much damage? I think the only thing I have to be worried about is stuff that's going to interact with like Flood Pit's Drowner. I think I'm going to keep this Consigned to Memory in hand. I want to be able to attack with this Champion as a Shoal, and I have to get through like cards like Flood Pit's Drowner. And I'll be able to continuously tap down a creature every single turn, probably. Okay, so what's this all about? another Lord. Okay, that's going to make things complicated. I'm going to go down to a precarious life total. Because I can tap down one creature, but my opponent is attacking me for lethal by next turn. So we need an interactive card. Or we need something that interacts with the battlefield. Another Champions of the Shoal, a Disruptor of Currents, Flood Pits Drowner. Dismember would work too, because we can hit a Master of the Pearl Trident, at least one of them. Alternatively, we could draw a Lord. I think a Lord would win. Oh yeah, it would. So if we draw Lord of Atlantis or Master of the Pearl Trident, that would also work. Yeah, because after they play Tide Shaper, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. Do we draw it? Needed that like a turn ago. Does this help me in any way? 4, 5, 8. Or I could force... Can I force my opponent to block a Master of the Pearl Trident? No, I can't. Okay, so I just gotta go do it this... Attack like this. Put a stun counter on, I guess, our Harbinger. Sure. And then my only hope is our opponent plays a passive for some reason. I mean, maybe the best line was actually not to attack at all. Maybe that was our best line. And then we're just threatening lethal next turn, but we're also sort of putting our opponent in a position. All right, if you attack, you're kind of screwed. Be careful. Well, okay. Our opponent had a pretty good hand for this game. And whoops, and we're dead. All right, so that was game 1. No shame losing to turn 1 Ether Vial into a pile of Master of the Pearl Tridents. Okay, so what do we want in this game? We're gonna want creatures that can interact, like Flood Pits Drowner. Tishana's Tidebinder might be fine. Cards that we don't want Harbinger of the Seas. We don't want Lord of Atlantis. We just living in a world where we don't need Lord of Atlantis anymore in this matchup. It's not necessary. What else do we want though? Mystical Dispute is okay. Forced Negation also might be okay. There's between Ether Vial, some removal like Dismember. But I'm not desperate right now. I think we might even just bring in a Mist Caller. Oh, hold on. Do I really need Consign to Memory? Yeah, Consign to Memory is going to be okay. There's a lot of ETBs. There's a lot of ETBs in this game. There should still be a lot of ETBs. Hexcatcher is not that valuable. How many 1-drops do I have? 4, 8. I'm on the offense. Is there anything else I don't like? Not really. I think I like everything. I'll just submit this. Or hold on. I might like a Hexcatcher more than I like a Silver Gill Adept. At least on the play. Maybe on the draw I'll have a... I think the Random Lord is still good. I think the Random Lord is still good. Our hand is just a 1-lander. I'm going to mulligan. This hand is not a 1-lander. I guess I'm just going to keep it. Okay, we can keep. And given the curve, I will dump the Consign to Memory. Because it looks like we can go like Mind Spring into Flood Pits into Tishana's Tidebinder. Maybe our opponent will have like a 1-lander with Violin, and then we'll get him. We'll get him so good. All right, they have a hand where they do nothing on turn 1. That's great for us. They might have Mystical Dispute up. They might have Stern Scolding. But either way, they do nothing with that mana. That's a big win for us. It's the Silvergill Mentor. It's going to resolve. It's going to make a token. And in the interest of not wasting my mana, we'll play Floodpits Drowner, tap the Silvergill Mentor. And what we might also be in for is jumping up our Mindspring Merfolk. Actually, we'll see. We'll give our opponent the option. I'm going to attack with this Floodpits Drowner. If they want to block with the token, we'll pump up the we'll pump things up, and we'll draw a card. So this puts a little bit of the initiative back into our opponent's hands, but at the same time, we're not completely losing our mana. We do technically have a better board presence than our opponent. Like they're going to be untapping with no creatures untapped. So things are quite okay for us. They got their own Mutavaults. Okay, Silvergill Adept with a Master of the Pearl Trident in hand. We have our own Lord, though. Okay, they're still acting like they've got a counter. They're like playing super patiently with their mana. Super patiently. Let's just attack. You want to block with your Silvergill Adept? That's fine. We'll still have more of a position on the battlefield than our opponent. And then we'll play Ether Vial and pass with this Floodpits Drowner. Maybe we'll even play Glasspool Mimic so that we can curve into this Mutavault. Wow, no blocks. I guess they want to get Disruptor of Current up and running. Do you have anything? Do you have like a Consign to Memory or something? There's some sort of counter spell here. Okay, I'll play... I don't think this Vial is going to get to 3 very easily. I will just play my Glasspool Mimic and pass with Floodpits Drowner. And I will not necessarily even play this Floodpits Drowner. So we know they have Master of the Pearl Trident in hand. And if they want to play the Master of the Pearl Trident, they have to tap down all their blue mana. If they tap down the blue mana... They got no more. They don't got blue mana. What can I say? They also might feel like they have to start getting aggressive with their cards because if they want to keep holding back this blue mana, it will be useless in a few turns when Ether Vial's online. They want to attack? Go for it. I'm attacking you back for a lot more. I'll take the damage. Sure, you can have a Hexcatcher. So these things... This is strong! And I don't have the mana up to deal with it. Alright, they make another token. And I'm going to have to play our Floodpits Drowner. Well, actually, what I could do is I could tap the Hexcatcher, and then I could just get rid of it. That's something I can do. While simultaneously playing Lord of Atlantis. If I'm allowed to play Lord of Atlantis. We do know that there is a Master of the Pearl Trident in their hand. We do know. Ether Vial number 2. Okay, I feel like getting more aggressive here. If they have Flare of Denial, then they have Flare of Denial. Okay, it worked. Oh, I can't attack with Mutavault this turn. It's the only downside. Well then, I attack with everything anyway. So the plan is, however they block, it's just going to be, like, not a great block. Hopefully. Otherwise, they take 11 damage. Actually, they could be taking lethal here if I have Hexcatcher. So they actually, they probably should block. Wait, Tishana's Tidebinder is a good card, but I'm not really getting the opportunity here. So if they go no blocks, I play Hexcatcher. This would be, what, is this lethal? This is 10 damage. Oh no, it's not lethal, so they don't have to block. They shouldn't. If I were them, I would not block. I forgot this Flood Pit's Drowner is a bit smaller. And then when they play Lord, what are they attacking for? 3, 6, 3, 6, 9, 11. And something. Okay, so this was a block I was hoping that would happen, because after I get rid of this thing... Well, I mean, my opponent will save a lot of life, I guess. That's the whole point. Yes, I'll take that exchange. So I would just rather I would just rather that I have more stuff on the battlefield than my opponent does. Can't really say I feel like I'm ahead. Even though, well, there is one good thing about all this. They don't technically have, my opponent doesn't have Island Walk. That's actually really important. My opponent technically does not have Island Walk. So if there's like Lord, attack with everything, I can at least block with a Flood Pit's Drowner or something. Now, the same is true for us. We also don't have Island Walk. Attacking with Merfolk the old-fashioned way. Just bashing our fins against each other. I very strongly am getting the sense our opponent has like a counter, like maybe a few counter spells in hand at this point. And it just sucks for them so much to be tapping out. No, hold on, maybe not. They played Silvergill Mentor last turn and held both Mutavaults up, so maybe they don't. Because there's no reason to like tap down both blue sources to play a Silvergill Mentor. Okay, so they don't have some sort of counter magic. Okay, here's the Lord, as prophesized. So they can freely attack with Silvergill Adept and the Mentor. And what I'll do, I don't know. Maybe I'll block something, maybe I won't. Mutavault's going to come into the attack. think it's in my best interest to block something. So hold on, this is 9 damage. What if I don't block? I attack with everything. You block. This is... I can only attack for 10, but I'm going to really put the pressure on my opponent to block something. Otherwise, I could just do nothing. Okay, we'll block one of these. Let's keep our life total a little bit high. You gonna take 3 life? That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. Okay, anything interesting? That is actually a really good draw. What to do about it, I don't know. Okay, I guess we're just gonna attack for 3. Play another Ether Vial. Let's see if our opponent can play into our hands. Because we don't have an island yet. Ooh, Tide Shaper. Alright, this thing's gonna enter the battlefield. But we do have a Tishana's Tidebinder, fortunately. Let's see if we see the counter spell that I sort of prophesized earlier on in the game. But then like our opponent was like tapping out their blue mana. My opponent goes, oof. Well, it's not that big of a blow up, but if you really depended on this, then I guess it's a problem. I'm forced. I don't have any options here. I gotta do this. Yeah, Tide Shaper's a card I am not playing. That actually is a huge bonus to their deck. So they have like an extra random 1-drop that's like a 2/2 creature a good chunk of the time, while also enabling Island Walk without having to use Harbinger of the Seas. Does our opponent have Harbinger of the Seas? And like they don't even know if they want to play it? Another Master, the Pearl Trident. That's just going to make it much harder to attack in. It's making things harder before it makes things easier. This is for 7. Do I just let this through? And then I can attack with Mutavault. What's our smallest creatures? This, and this will attack, and then I'll get through with a 3/3, another 2/2, and a 2/2. That's 7 damage. Damn. What's the result out of all this? I just want to take the damage, go to 1. I play Silvergill Mentor. And if I attack with everything, they can block the Silvergill Mentor, the Mutavault, and the Tishana's Tidebinder. And the thing that we'll get through would be a Mindspring Merfolk, a 2/2, and another 2/2 from the token. But that doesn't look like it's gonna do it. Fortunately, all my opponent's stuff is 3/3s. Okay, so I think. But only if they gang block everything that I attack with, then they'll lose everything. No, but they'll still have a bunch of random stuff on the board. Okay, we're gonna block. I'm gonna block one thing. Block the Silver Gill Adept. I'll take 3, I'll go to 5. So we have enough ammunition to, like, attack back. Maybe force our opponent to make some uncomfortable blocks. I will tick the Vial. Do I need to tick the Vial up to 3? What do I have? No, maybe I'm not going to tick Vial up to 3 because I have nothing for 3 mana in my deck. Useful, anyhow. If I draw a Silver Gill Adept, I'm going to... a Silver Gill Adept? Yeah, Silver Gill Adept, I'll want to keep that thing there. So, so we'll tick this. We won't tick this one up. But we'll tick this thing up. That's great, actually. Okay, that is a good draw. So now, can I attack? I think I can attack with everything now. Or maybe I can't. I can't. Can I attack with enough things to force my opponent to make some blocks? What if I attack with everything and then they just chump block? So they block Lord. They block the Lord. They block Tishana's Tidebinder, and they block Mutavault. Problem is the Lords will exchange, and I'll get in for 7 damage, put my opponent to 1. So then we trade, like, basically everything off. Almost everything. And then all that's left are 2 Mutavaults and a random token. If they have 1 piece of removal, I lose. Or maybe not, because I have Hexcatcher. This is complicated. It's very complicated. Alternatively, I could just attack with a bunch of stuff. Maybe I just attack with everything but the Lord. Yeah, that's pretty safe. They block, they're screwed. If they don't block, they die. Yeah, do you know what? That sounds like a good idea. Should have thought about that earlier. I don't really risk anything, and then the Lord can be a blocker. Like, chump blocks still have to be made here. In fact, at least 2 things need to block. Ideally 3. And so, like, if they let these 2 in, then I have a Lord, I win. And maybe that's just the risk that they're willing to take in this spot. See, my concern is if I attack with the Lord, they're forced to go block, blocking my Master of the Pearl Trident, and even if they let the token and Mutavault through, the hell? I can, oh, this is Ether Vial. I would like to use Ether Vial's ability, yes, please. But anyway, and then if they let the token and Mutavault through, and I play the Hexcatcher, I'm only dealing 7 damage, putting them down to 1, and it'd just be, and then they'd have this token and 2 Mutavaults left. Alright, we're going to game 3. Okay, things might be a little bit different in game 3. I might need more defense earlier on. What else do I want? Consigned to Memory might be significantly worse on the draw. I'll probably want the Mist Callers instead. I might want one random, maybe a Mystical Dispute. Mystical Dispute can hit other cards other than the creatures. It can hit Sink into Stupor. It can hit Flare of Denial if necessary. They probably side out Flare of Denial, but just in case they don't. It can also hit my opponent's Mystical Disputes. Is Force Negation worth it? Probably not. Okay, I'll have one Mystical Dispute on the draw. Yes. So it's like... Yeah. Yeah. How valuable. It's like really boom or bust. If my opponent doesn't have Cavernous Souls, this thing is incredible. Because there's a lot of ETBs to this deck now. But if my opponent has Cavernous Souls, it's going to really suck. Okay, so I'll just have one. And I'll be done. No land. Well, this is sort of a land, but not in time. I will very easily mulligan. His hand's not really that good either, to be honest. I think I'll keep it, though. It can, like, curve into something. I guess I'll get rid of my island. Do I get rid of the island? Well, I need an island for the Disruptor of Currents. Okay, we'll get rid of Immutavault then. I need at least one more blue source for Disruptor. Oh, they got their Golden Gloom Lake Verge. Okay, Otawara into Mistcaller. Drawing the Lord is nice. Looks like a good card. Oh, they have their own island. Excellent. Silvergill Mentor, sure. Ooh, we have our own Silvergill Mentor. Okay, I'll play my own Silvergill Mentor first. Or do I want to attack? If I attack and they block with the token, I'll have a bigger board presence than they do. Dude, I think I'm gonna do this. No, but then I have less cards for Disruptor of Currents. It's tricky. It's really tricky. Okay, I'm gonna attack. It's tricky. It's very, very tricky. Oh, look at that. They didn't block. That's a huge win for us, chat. That's a huge win for us. They had bigger plans. Okay, I'll behold this Merfolk in play. Play Silvergill and Mentor of our own. And so, like, even if they follow it up with a Lord, we can use our Silvergill Mentor to block the other Silvergill Mentor if necessary. Ooh, Sphaloon. Didn't see that one coming. I'm going to play another card. I can play Disruptor of Currents with my 3 cards in play. Yeah, let's keep... Well, I think I've got control of the game. Or do I? Hold on. Because maybe I think I've got control of the game here. What's more important? Okay. Let's do it this way. Okay, we're just going to keep their stuff off the board. And then this Disruptor of Currents is going to be great. Ooh, we can even play it with Cavernous Souls. Merfolk. And we will just play this. And bounce the Sphaloon. That should be a pretty useful, chunky tempo play. And then on the following turn, we can play like Champions of the Shoal. I guess exiling the Silvergill Mentor, and we can always target the Sphaloon. And then we play Master of the Pearl Trident, and then we hammer the opponent big time. The other creatures have ward, but that one does not. Well, unfortunately, our opponent is sort of curving out. Okay, Sveilun is back. Ether Vial's here, but that's probably a bit late. I draw another Cavernous Souls. So we still have nothing in hand. Okay, so we'll play our champions of the Shoal. What to get rid of? I'm guessing the Silvergill Mentor. So if champion somehow disappears, we get this thing back and get more value. Otherwise, I could get rid of Mistcaller, which is just a crappier card. Maybe I'll just get rid of Mistcaller. It's just worse. And then if I attack with both these creatures and there's a block with Silvergill Mentor, that's great. Like, our opponent has basically nothing. Oh, wow! So it's actually good that I got rid of... So this is going to be awkward. Now, they lost. What did they lose? Silvergill. This is going to be still pretty good for us, in my opinion. We'll definitely put this card back on top. Hopefully we don't get completely wrecked. And pass. And it'll be back. They lost 2 cards for that exchange. We lost 1. I mean, I guess technically we lost 2. So they're gonna get 2 cards. Hopefully they don't fly too far ahead. And if they don't find an answer to Champion of the Shoal, like, we're just going to shut down this Sveilun. Alternatively, we can double block here, right? So we can double block, and if there is... Did they draw another Sveilun? Is that what happened? Yeah, I'm just going to take the damage. I'm a little paranoid here. If we double block and they even have Hexcatcher, the trade might be good for them, that they killed my 2 creatures and I can't even champion my my card. Master of the Pearl Trident. That is fine. Okay, Champion of the Shoal is back. Actually, cancel. Hold on. No. I'm just going to go about this. Hold on. I could actually activate the Mutavault, right? Okay, but it would require me playing my... Okay, yeah, I'm not going to play the island. We're not going to do that. Let's not play too fancy here. Let's not play too fancy. I'll get rid of Silvergill Mentor. Yes. And we'll tap down Sveilun. We will do... Do I want to attack? Sure. If they block with Silvergill Mentor, I think that's okay. Yep. They're in top deck mode. We are not really in top deck mode. We have a Master of the Pearl Trident that our opponent has no idea about. We have no islands in play. We have a giant 4/6 fish. That's giant 4/6 fish that's blocking our opponent. Mind Spring is nice. Their own Master of the Pearl Trident. Is this subtlety? Oh, okay. Maybe they have a counter spell. I shall declare attacks. I'll attack with my creatures. I will continuously tap this thing down, the Sveilun. I don't think they have any good bounce. Like, if they bounce my Master of the Pearl Trident, it's not like the block got any better with the Disruptive Currents in play. I will play my Mind Spring Merfolk. I'll pass the turn. And I think we are overwhelmingly ahead here. opponent says, good games, good games. And good luck. So what won for us? Our opponent showed us. Oh, they did have another Svaelun in hand when they made that attack. That makes a lot of sense. So anyway, champions of the shoal. Unfortunately, we only got to see it in the mirror, but of course, in a tempo style matchup, like what it would be versus Merfolk, champions of the shoal would be a complete, absolute beating. And this card actually also ended up. I don't know how great it was. It was basically like Harbinger of the Tides, but not so conditional. But it was a nice 3/3 creature. It was really good on blocking. Okay, that was round 1. Let's get into round 2. Here in round 2, we won the die roll. Hand is actually, it's okay. I wish I had a little bit more beef, more oomph, because I don't think a Lord of Atlantis, Mindspring, Merfolk, and a Mutavault is going to overall get the job done. I guess we're going to start off... I'm going to start off with the Mutavault. There might be an outsized chance that I attack with it next turn. Maybe. Who knows? So your opponent already starts off with the Flood Strand and passing. I don't know what that means, though. It could be up against some sort of Jeskai midrange deck, and they'll kill my Mutavault when I attack, so... Let's not... How about this? How about we just don't attack? So we're going to put the Sink into Stupor in play. I'm going to put in play... I don't want to take any damage now. And we'll just pass the turn. And then well, we're holding up Dismember, if that is meaningful to anything. And we'll also play our Mindspring Merfolk, hopefully at the end of our opponent's turn. So we do have an Undercity Sewers, which still doesn't say very much. We're up against maybe a Grixis deck. So maybe a Reanimator. Maybe a Reanimator? Which Dismember should still be useful against. Man, I have no idea what they have at flash speed. So our Mindspring could be cooked. Its goose could be cooked. So I'm going to die. Oh, okay. You gotta be kidding me. Not the Bowmasters. All right. Mindspring Merfolk down. Now, knowing... Actually, I don't really know what we're up against. All I know is we're up against a deck with Bowmasters, which is very upsetting. I think I would rather vial in our Lord of Atlantis, get our Glasspool Mimic to copy this thing cleanly, than to even attack with the Mutavault. What? Was that a line? The thing is, I don't want to play Lord of Atlantis at end of turn and then they kill it. Oh, and they got rid of a Tamiyo here. Now what am I going to do with my Glasspool Mimic? I think I'm going to dump it. We have better things to go get. That's fine. They lost 2 cards. We lost... Because the problem is... So yeah, they lost 2 cards. It was a 2-for-1 deal, so I'm fine with that exchange. My problem is if we keep Glasspool on top and then they kill Lord, well then what are we copying? With the Mutavault? I mean, we can do that. It's not the greatest, but yeah, we can do that. I got rid of a Tamiyo. I guess Tamiyo a little late to the party. Psychic Frog. That's good for us. Sort of. Ooh, it's even better that they played the Steam Vents. You needed that Steam Vents as fuel and food for your Psychic Frog. Now what are you going to do? Do I want to use the ability? Do we have 3 drops? We do have some 3 drops. I guess until then we're going to say no, just in case I have to behold a Merfolk or something with a... Okay, hold on. Well, I could cast this. And I would lose my Lord of Atlantis. Nah, we're not going to do that. We're just going to play this land, hit the Psychic Frog. We can pay black, thankfully, because thank you very much, Gloomlake Verge. Thank you very much. And we'll attack for a clean 3 damage. And in the I'll take a Vial next turn. Actually, maybe I could still tick up Vial. The only thing I'm stopping is what? Silvergill Adept. But there is still a lot of 2s in the deck overall. There's still a lot of 2s in this deck. But the thing is, if I can take it up to 3, then I can still play my 3 drops. But in addition to that, I can also play tick up 1 more time for Champion of the Shoal. And also maybe take 1 more up for the our 5-mana Bouncer. So they want to pass the turn. Oh, we're going to pass the turn back. So we're not going to attack with our Mutavault, because if they kill Lord, they got a lot of mana. What do you think they're going to do with that mana? You think they're going to pass the turn and do nothing? No, they're going to kill our Lord of Atlantis. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to be glad to kill our Lord of Atlantis. Oh, is this subtlety? What the hell is this? Oh, this Wan Shi Tong library. Librarian. Flash flying, enters, put X +1/+1 counters on him, then draw half X cards rounded down. Oh, like my Mind Spring Merfolk. Whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter and draw a card. This guy, I'm not searching my library. You gonna force me to do it or something? You gonna do that to me? Well, Wan Shi Tong, you're gonna have something to say with my champion of the shoal. I'll tell you that right now. This thing has vigilance? Not for long. Not for long. Single Super is nice. Gives us some insurance. Okay, so... Well, okay, let's just try to do some stuff here. We'll attack. If they kill the Lord, then we can flash in the champion. And then if they block, we can bounce with Sink into Stupor. If they have subtlety, maybe this is a pretty creature-heavy deck. Okay, so you're going to kill this. Which at that point, we're going to activate. Put our champion in play. Tap this thing down. And then they... I mean, like, worst case scenario... The Mutavault dies, big deal. But I will try to save our poor Mutavault. I will attempt to save it with our Sink. It's probably going to get countered. But I will try. That's fine. We are basically ahead on the board here. I think the average creature that our opponent might play is just going to get outclassed. Like, even if they play Psychic Frog. I guess Psychic Frog doesn't do anything because we can just tap it down with the champion after that. Big beefy champion. Enters or becomes tap up to one target creature and put a stun counter on it. You like counters? Wee Shi Tong. Do you love your counters? I got some counters for you, don't I? I got many counters. Oh, we got a Lord. Yeah, let's just play it. Let's play our Lord. Let's tack in for a little extra chunk of damage. I suspect it's just going to get counterspell. That's okay. Or do they have subtlety? Nope. Let's come crashing in for 5. Ooh, trigger another stun counter. This is like removal. Snapcaster Mage. What does it even get? Oh, can it kill this? Oh, I guess it oh man, you're only 4. That's lame. Okay, so what our opponent can do... Actually, what do they do with the Fatal Push? Yeah, Fatal Push can only hit the Master. So this is all fine. So I guess the original plan, and I'm fine with this, actually. I'm fine. We just traded a Snapcaster Mage for a Master of the Pearl Trident. Alternatively, like, the Snapcaster Mage was going to block our Champion of the Shoal, and then the Fatal Push kills the Champion. Okay. Feels like our opponent just hit the right sort of mana. They're trying to do something real fast here. The Consult of the Star Charts. You can look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control, which is 5. Put one of them into your hand. If the spell was kicked, this is kicked, put 2 of those cards into your hand. Okay, you can go find 2 cards. Strong card. It's basically like fact or fiction, but you get to choose what's your fact and what's your fiction. Did not find Fatal Push, which is good. Why did they shouldn't have cracked their fetch land. Or, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't judge. Consigned to memory is... Well, that would have been better not too long ago. Would have been better when Snapcaster Mage arrived. Oh, is the Snapcaster Mage? That'd be great. If it's 2 bolts, though, that sucks. Okay. That's not good. I don't have anything exiled to bring back to my hand either. I wonder if that's what they found. Okay, well, that's bad news. Suddenly I would say I'm losing all of a sudden. I guess I'm gonna leave it on no, actually, because if we draw our one other champion of the shoal, I can play it. I don't have mana for this thing, unfortunately. We were in the perfect position to win, and then we lost. It all started with the death of our Mindspring Merfolk, and only got worse from there. It was actually a legitimate decision. I should have countered the Psychic Frog trigger, because given this Silvergill Adept in our hand, denying our opponent a card would have been useful. Come on, champion. And give me another champion of the shoal. Or one other champion of the shoal. Not it. Is the game over? The game's not over, but like it's pretty close. I would say the game is not in our favor. Despite how strong I thought it was. Target opponent exiles a creature they control and their graveyard. Guess what I lose? How much did that cost? That was a 2-mana card? Strategic Betrayal. Seems really strong. Surprised it has not seen play, or maybe it just didn't have a shell for it. Graveyard's super important. I guess the problem is edicts are pretty bad in the grand scheme of things. How do I get out of here? How do I get myself out of this mess? I guess I can't exactly dismember this thing, because in response my opponent can draw with the clue. But they have made a very noob mistake that I can capitalize on here. Oops, undo. Fool! You fell for the oldest trick in the book! And now your Psychic Frog is dead. See, yeah, they have 4 cards in their hand now. So if I let that... If they just went to draw their card for the turn, they wouldn't be in this mess. I will sadly take the 3 damage. What am I looking for here? What am I looking for? What am I hoping for? Oh, Snapcaster Mage is here. Oh, Snapcaster Mage. Okay, question. Do I want to show them my consign to memory? Like, I'm pretty dead. I mean, I'm not dead. There is... But, like, what's in my sideboard? Am I siding this thing out? Maybe I am, and I'm bringing in Mystical Dispute instead, and Tishana's Tie Butler, but maybe not, because they have Bowmasters too. Did I show them a consign to memory earlier? Okay, I'm just going to concede. Like, the odds of coming back from this are pretty disastrous. There's a chance, like, don't get me wrong, there's a chance. Okay, I'm dead. But it was a very bad chance. I just don't want it to show them that I have main deck consign. Now is the question, are we going to keep main deck consign? So there's a lot of cards that we would want in this matchup. Do I want Harbinger of the Seas? They're pretty mana heavy. They're like a 3-color deck, even though they did have a swamp. Okay, is there anything I clearly don't want? I don't want anything. So Silvergill Adept Mentor is finally going to be something that can compete with Bowmasters. I don't like Hexcatcher. Way too weak versus Bowmasters. So what am I bringing in? Definitely want Mystical Dispute. Definitely want something like Deshanna's Tidebinder that can deal with the ETB cards. Flood Pit Drowner, again, a card that just gets wiped off by Bowmasters. Mindspring and Silvergill Adept can get wiped off by Bowmasters, but the upside to Silvergill Adept is enough that I think I'm going to keep it around, and Mindspring has such high potential that I want to keep it around. We'll bring in another Counterspell is not bad in these situations because there's a lot of ETB cards and just a lot of cards that are 2-for-1s. And if we get into like a bit of a back and forth battle, then countering things are going to be more important than not. Disruptor of Currents. Return target. You know what? Return this case. So this can, you know what? I want to side this out, but we're going to keep it in for experimentation. And the reason is that we can bounce our own creatures in response. That seems pretty good. Not guaranteed to be great, but I think it's pretty good. I think it's worth having. So maybe just strictly better than Consign is some Counterspell. So we will have some Consigns, but not the full suite. And you know what? I don't want to go. I don't know yet if Harbinger is really that good because they can definitely fetch out some basics, which they did in that game. They got a basic Swamp, but has the potential to lock them out of like almost everything. Yeah, we're gonna keep this. This hand's good. Hand's great, really. It's beautiful. Probably the game is going to really depend on this Ether Vial. They tapped out, so that's fine with me. So let's get some value out of this Silvergill Adept while we can. I'll show them Silvergill Mentor because that's incredibly likely what I'm going to play next. This could leave it vulnerable to a Bowmasters, big deal. I want to get this in play before the Bowmasters hits. Okay, so we have a Psychic Frog. Intestinos. Ooh, a Counterspell. I like that a lot. How many cards? When you draw your third card, you're going to draw 1, 2, 3. How annoying. But not much we can do about that. Okay, I'm going to hold up this Counterspell. We'll just slowly start beating our opponent in their face. And if Tamio flips, it should be pretty easy to kill. Should be. Play Island, play the Mind Spring, and pass. With Counterspell and more backup. We got backup. There's that basic Swamp. There's that Tamio attack. But in order for her to flip, the clue has to be sacrificed. And if you sacrifice the clue, that's just borderline tapped out. Flame of Venor. Well, anyway, we're not going to give our opponent that much value. So now the whole turn is ruined. That was greed, opponent. That's what we call greed. I will leave the vial on too. Consigned to memory, which is great. So let's just play. Okay, first we'll play the Silvergill Mentor. I want to get ahead of a Subtlety. We'll attack with everything. Put the Lord in play. Hopefully our opponent does not have a sweeper. That would be awful. And we win very easily. Like, I assume our opponent's not playing with, like, a Pyroclasm. I could be wrong, though. Well, Pyroclasm we can beat. I guess Anger of the Gods is the only thing that we couldn't beat. Do we want to change anything? The answer is no. Basically, no. Maybe the Harbinger of the Seas is even stronger than I think. What do I want to take out on the draw, though? One Silvergill Mentor. Champions of the Shoal. Yeah, I'm just going to keep it as it is. I'm tempted. Like, if they only have, like, access... So, I thought they only had Bolt. They have access to Flame of Anor. So, basically, we shut off Flame of Anor, too. And we shut off the fetching ability of Fatal Push. Okay, let's trim one of these. Bring in the Harbinger of the Seas. Now let's hope our opponent just doesn't go like Island, Swamp, Mountain and make us look stupid. This hand is like... not interesting. Some benefits, we have Cavern of Souls, but we have... I mean, the hand is just really weak on the draw. It's really weak on the draw. We don't... Yeah, I'm going to mulligan. This hand is great. I definitely accept. We'll keep. Guess we'll dump. I sort of want to keep this Tishana's Tidebinder. I'll get rid of one Mentor. I sort of, like, it's either dump the Tidebinder or dump a Mentor. It's close. It's close. I don't really want to do either. But our opponent has a lot of triggers and ETBs, so Tishana's Tidebinder does play a pretty good role. We drew a Consign to Memory, which is okay. Frog. Frog. So let's get ahead of Frog. Or, I mean, okay, so there's another option. I could just consign this Psychic Frog, wait to the next turn, and we Tishana's Tidebinder it. That's an option too. And there is a logic to, like, denying my opponent a card can be valuable to me. But maybe getting a card right now is also valuable. Especially, again, trying to get underneath Bowmasters. Both options are close. There is a world where, you know, a deck that this deck can scale better when it has more resources, and like we're in a situation with Silvergill Adept, Mentor, Tishana's Tidebinder, like we're pretty threat dense here. So making sure our opponent doesn't get like super far ahead is better than us trying to get further, like super far ahead. Always feels good when your opponent fatal pushes your Silvergill Adept. That is always value. I guess there is a world, yeah, I could just block this thing and force them to put something on top. Yeah, they're not in any position to pay through life. I will pay through life, actually. And we'll pass. Question is, if they fetch, do I Tishana's? And I guess the answer is yes, because it doesn't look like they had any answer to it. Okay, we'll play Silvergill Mentor. I think I'm going to try to double block this thing. And that'll force our opponent to discard 2 cards. If they do discard 2 cards, that's a few... well, we can also play Tishana's Tidebinder on one of those triggers as well. And then follow it up in the end with a Sink into Stupor. That is interesting. There's a few ways we can go about this. We can go with the Counter Spell. We can go with the Counter Spell route or the Consign route. I guess this is a Counter Spell route, even though I don't really want to use my Counter Spell like this here. Okay, they're gonna fetch. Okay, that's fine. So Bowmaster's resolves, we will consign it. And then we will barely come out ahead here. Actually, I mean, it's actually debatable if we're even coming out ahead here. Because now they have to discard 2 cards to keep the Psychic Frog alive. So they'll have no cards. But then we get to sink it. Or I guess I don't have to sink it. Should I sink it? Should I sink it, chat? Oh, it's pretty good. All right, so now we... yeah, I'm just going to play this thing. Islands are us. You have islands, I have islands. We all have islands. And they're probably going to exile 3 cards from their graveyard to activate the Psychic Frog. And with that, we can... Yeah, I'll just Tishana's Tiebinder this thing. I guess I didn't need to do that. I mean, it doesn't matter either way. Or no, it could matter, actually. If they've got, like, what's it called? Actually, that was a good point, even in and itself. I could wait till one of the triggers, they like, buff up the Psychic Frog or something. So I'm going to take an extra 4 damage that I didn't really need to take. Oh, they don't even feel like they're on the offense anymore. I don't blame them. Okay, we're going to tick the vial up to... No, let's just leave at 3. If I get a 4-drop, we'll just wait. There's our 4-drop. I'm going to save it, though. While our opponent's tapped out. They can't recast this thing. We'll attack for 5, tick vial up to 4, and then if they randomly play anything, we can intervene with our champions of the shoal. It's been a while since I play with a chunky 4-drop in my deck. Now with the risk of both subtlety and Snapcaster Mage, I'm not going to attack with a Harbinger of the Seas. We're just going to play it nice and safe and easy. This game seems like a lock. I feel better about siding in that 4th Harbinger of the Seas. That could have been it. Could have been the reason we won this game. Play the champion, tap down your guy, and it's over. All right, we won. GG's. Did any of the new cards help us in this matchup? I think Champions of the Shoal helped a little bit. I mean, okay, so technically no. This was just, okay, let's be objective. It was a bit win more. I think in game 1 it showed like a lot of strength. It showed a lot of value, but we did technically lose that game. In game 2, like it never came up. Game 3, did any of the new cards matter? Well, yeah, actually we put how much in defense with the... Where is it? Did they exile it off the battlefield? Oh yeah, there we go. Our Silvergill Mentor. We were able to double block that Psychic Frog for 3 damage, forcing our opponent to discard enough cards to save it, and that cleared the way for our Sink into Stupor. So that was great value. All right, that was round 2. Let's move on to round 3. We lost the die roll. Don't really like our hand. It's pretty clunky looking in the dark. I don't even know if Consigned to Memory is even going to do anything. If I don't draw any beef, like Master of the Pearl Trident is just not going to get the job done by itself, so I'm going to mulligan. His hand is really not that much better, but I'm going to keep it. I guess we're going to get rid of... I guess that Gloom Lake Verge. Because at least Otawara can bounce something. Oh yeah, we're up against a Hedge Maze deck, which is... I don't know, could be anything. Well, it makes... Seeing a Silvergill Adept makes my hand feel a little bit better. Maybe this was a mulligan to 5. Like, against a random deck in Modern, this probably just gets crushed. Just gets crushed. I just don't like mulliganing to 5. I'm not a mulligan to 5 person. Okay, this hand is now getting a lot better. guess I'll show a Flood Pits Drowner. Is this a Simic? What is it called? Simic Evolution? No, Simic. Is that enchantment? Simic enchantment. Oh, is this Living End? Are people playing Living End in 2026? That's still a deck here? Sort of looks and feels like it. Okay. Are we dumping another Cycler in the graveyard? No. No, not yet. Well, I gotta be a little concerned here. I gotta keep my toes up for the. Oh, there's another Cycler. I mean, if it's Living End, I'm gonna be super thrilled. I mean, this is it's almost a buy. Look at this: Mist Caller, Mist Caller, Mist Caller, Tashawn's Tiebinder. All these cards, almost all these cards interact with Living End to some degree. Well, they're saving up for the big Living End. They want a big one. The Disruptor of Currents. That will be funny. So what do I do here? I guess attack for 2, hold up Flood Pits Drowner. Because there's no instant speed Cascaders anymore. It's all at sorcery speed. I slightly regret playing that Mutavault, but not really. Okay. So I don't want to put anything in play that's just going to get wiped off the face of the earth. Well, if they went like Cycle, Cascade, I'm pretty sure I could race that. By like playing Flood Pits Drowner, tapping one of their creatures, playing like a Lord attacking with Mutavault and my Flood Pits Drowner for 6, and then following up with another Lord and winning. Okay, there's Ardent Plea, and there's nothing I can do about this. It's not a good Living End, though. I'm gonna get a food token. They hungry. They hungy. Okay, let's see. Well, let's see if I can win in a few turns. I might not. I'll certainly race whatever the hell's going on over here. They do have the food token, though. Can't underestimate food. Ether Vial. It's nice. It's a nice card, but probably not useful right now. Or maybe it is useful. Well, it's useful, but I don't care. So our opponent now is in a position to basically Living End again. And if they don't, we'll play another Lord next turn and crash in for, what is this, 4, 8, 11 damage. Then the food is not going to protect you. Endurance in your Living End deck. I'm sorry, I mean, that's like a staple. It's not a big deal. Exalted, yeah, getting that 1 damage. Again, you can see they're not even comfortable winning from this position. I'm sorry, opponent. You have like this is just a disaster. It's just a disaster. Like all these cards were great. Fidelian Hexcatcher, Counterspell, Tashawn's Tiebinder for the Cascade trigger, Force of Negation. And even Harbinger of the Seas is insane. I don't see a lot of basic lands in this deck because they really depend on those like hedge mazes in order to like feed their graveyard. Like it's just part of their strategy. Hedge maze, put creature in graveyard, or go find lands to help curve out. So I got too many options here. I'll just take out the clunkiest of our curve, the Disruptor of Secrets. I'll take out Champions of the Shoal. I'll also take out all the Dismembers. Harbinger is fine. Force Negation is good. Shadow's Tideburn great. Lords are good. Counterspell good. Silvergill Mentor not necessary but fine. Yeah, maybe I'll keep it. Consign to Memory counters the Cascade trigger. Okay, I have 34 creatures. Okay, so I have to cut some creatures. I'm actually gonna cut Flood Pits Drowner, or I have to cut 4 cards. It's a lot of cards, chat. It's a lot of cards I have to cut here. Okay, just in case In the past, Harbinger of the Seed was fine, but it was like not mandatory in this matchup because it was more of it was more blue-green based, and or it was definitely a little bit more blue-green based, and they always had like a forest, a basic forest to get. Now it's like they need green, they need white. I don't really remember their mana base very well. I do want Mindspring Merfolk. Like I'm actually torn here. I'm like I want to play with the new cards, but at the same time, I should. I think it's the thing to dump. Okay, I'll get rid of one Harbinger of the Seas. I'll get rid of 3 Silvergill Mentors. Yeah, I'm basically siding out all the new cool cards. I just don't think they're necessary. Like I like Silvergill Mentor. I have nothing against this card. But I want the flash speed ability of Flood Pits Drowner. I want the unlimited counters with like Consign to Memory. Like this is just impossible to lose. Silvergill Mentor and Hexcatcher is a great combo here, but everything else is just a little too mandatory. This deck wasn't built with Living End in mind. Living End is not the most popular archetype right now. I wish it was. I'm actually in favor of them unbanning Violent Outburst. We need to get Violent Outburst off the ban list. It's very silly. They ban it, and then they print like a million answers to Crashing Footfalls after they ban it. We have no blue mana here, so we have to mulligan. We have blue mana. I guess we're going to keep this. And I need to curve out. It's mandatory. So I'll get rid of Lord of Atlantis. Now, there is one thing. I mean, you can't play too patiently versus Living End. Otherwise, they'll just cast their stuff. I mean, they can cast Endurance. Nothing wrong with that. They can cast Subtlety. If you give them enough time. What's this? This is a new card. Deceit. 6 mana, 5/5. When this creature enters, if blue was spent to cast a return up to 1 to other target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. When this creature enters, if black was spent to cast it, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Oh, and they disc. That's incredible. That is a great addition to this archetype. Straight up banger. So what, they hedge maze that into the graveyard? If I understand correctly. So end of turn we'll play our Hexcatcher. Might meet a Mystical Dispute. If it does, whatever. There it is. I will not pay anything. I will not pay. Well. Talking about not being able to beat certain cards. We got the Harbinger of the Seas. And my opponent has no basics. Perhaps I should have all 4 of these in the deck. So now... now what do I do? Now I am passing... Well, okay, so our opponent can have Subtlety. And I'm most definitely not going to walk into that. I was not born yesterday. I could try to play Glasspool Mimic, and then if they Subtlety, I can Consign to Memory it, I guess. I could also try to just play Master of the Pearl Trident here. Ooh, if I play... Do they have Sink into... I think they have Sink into Stupor. Although this doesn't play around Sink into Stupor, I guess. There's nothing I can do about it, though. Flare. Alright. What? But I get to attack. Look at that. Ha 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 ha. Let's attempt to play another card. Potentially copy our Harbinger. Give us some insurance. Well, there's the subtlety. Well, anyway, this is... Okay, so this subtlety is going to fail. Certainly going to slow me down, though. What? I mean, okay. So they lost the subtlety. Put this on the bottom? Maybe the top? I don't understand. Oh, they just really didn't want... Oh, yeah, they really didn't want me to have another one. Okay, we'll put it on the bottom, I guess. Just try to... Like, I almost want, like, another land so I can play a Flood Pit Strandor and a Tishana's Tidebinder on the same turn. Increase my clock here. I don't want to draw another Glasspool Mimic. I got what I asked for. Okay, do you have another subtlety? Nope. Confidently attack for 2. Confidently. I will just throw it at Tishana's Tidebinder. And we'll hold up the Flood Pits for a random creature that's going to try to block me. We just need to increase the clock so that we can win by the time... We need to be able to win. 3 turns and our opponent's dead. Ooh. Clock just sped up. It's funny, with all the islands, they can't even cycle properly with their cards because they're... that's interesting. I'll pay the 3. We have 2 of them? Why didn't you counter my Tishana's Tidebinder? Isn't that the logical thing to do? Tishana's Tidebinder got resolved for nothing. Okay, we won the match. I mean, it's almost like a 95%er. Things have to go super, super wrong for us in order to lose the Living End match. Unfortunately, none of the new cards shined. All the old cards were just good enough. Okay, that was round 3. Let's move on to round 4. Round 4, we won the die roll. Hand has basically 1 land, and it comes to play tap. We're going to mulligan. This hand has no land. The hand of no land. We are going to mold this one as well. Just got to wait for our opponent to decide if they want to keep their hand or not. We will definitely mulligan. Jeez. Yeah, well, we have to keep this. And I guess what we're going to do is dump Lord and Dismember. I mean, for a 5-card hand, I mean, it's not too bad. I'll keep it. But, you know, it's actually a lot better if we had this type of hand on the draw. Our opponent mulligan too, so there's that. We're going to take 3 damage, play our Mind Spring, Merfolk. I mean, there's a world where we curve out here. Mind Spring, Flood Pits, Lord, maybe activate our Mind Spring, draw a card. These are not the colors you want to see on a mulligan. Oh boy! Oh boy! Things are heating up now, especially after I bullied myself just warming up. I was just warming up with that Saprophic Springs. Now here's the real question. This is black-red. Okay, I'll attack for 1. I think I'm going to play the Silvergill Adept, because I think the nastier things from our opponent are going to come in the future. I'm going to show the Lord, because that's not something I can easily play. Anyway, so if I pass the turn with like Mutavault and this Saprophic Springs, it will not look that suspicious. Not sure we are prepared. I mean, I'm hoping this is burn and not like if this is prowess, we're cooked. It's very hard to beat prowess. If this is burn, great, we can beat this. It's Burn. I have not played against Burn for like 2 years. I've never been so happy to see a Searing Blaze in my life. This used to be the card that I hated. I have never been so happy to see Searing Blaze. Thank you, opponent, for burning my Silver Gill Adept and my face for 3 damage. You know what? I could not be happier. This is the greatest match ever. Because I think we have very good chances versus Burn. Very, very good. I mean, we have a ton of counter spells. We've got a ton of interaction. Like Harbinger of the Seas sometimes can just win the game by itself. You play Harbinger of the Seas, I mean, they're dead. In this case, they're not. And imagine that Burn these days would aggressively fetch for mountains to play around, the threat of Harbinger of the Seas. That being said, it's still going to be good. And I have like great cards like Floodpit's Drowner here. Okay, this is all good. This is all fine. Man, if I knew, I just wouldn't play that Soporific Springs like we did. Oh boy. Well, 2 is not 0. That was a lot of damage, though. It was a lot of damage. Come on, let's just curve land and get the champion to shoal out, and they've got nothing. They just got nothing. Disruptor of Currents. How do we cast this card? I need like 1 more Merfolk on the battlefield. Yeah, I can't cast anything else otherwise. Okay, we'll just attack with everything and then play Ether Vial. And then hope our opponent doesn't draw a burn spell for 12 turns. That's the plan. It's not a great plan, but you know, it's doable. So what's their creature suite going to be? Do they have Eidolon? Do they have, maybe they're playing with Slickshot? Bump in the Night. Okay, well, yeah, that's going to cook us. Okay, we lose. But that's fine. That's fine. Because I'm very optimistic about games 2 and 3. So we'll want Floodpit's Drowner. We'll want maximum counter spells. If you were desperate, you could play with Mystical Dispute. I'm not desperate. Tishana's Divebinder, I think, is going to be good because you can counter the Prowess trigger on Swift Spear. You can... What else? I mean, it's just a flash creature in general. You can counter the Suspend cast trigger on Riftbolt if that's in their deck. You can also hit fetch lands, force negation. So our opponent, Harbinger of the Seas, is a good card in this matchup. It is a good card, but I don't know if it's going to be great. Our opponent aggressively went to dig for those mountains. Okay, I don't want Consign to Memory. I don't think I want those. These are definitely too clunky. Well, Champion of the Shoal probably is... Actually, do you know what? Champion of the Shoal might be better than I think. There's definitely going to be situations where our board is empty. Oh, but then our board is empty. Yeah, how do I need to champion something. But like the deal is, my opponent asked me, "Are you the Nikachu?" Yes, I am. So the deal is there's a lot of situations in Burn. They just don't. They have like 1 creature out. We have no creatures out. This is a big creature. We tap down their 1 prowess creature and then slowly win the game. Okay, Dismember we don't want. Anything else we don't want? Like I don't want to be too heavy on the mana curve. Love Mentor. This is gonna be great. I love that we make 2 bodies, can slow the game down, overload our opponent's removal. Also works well with the Hex Catcher. Honestly, I think the Lord is like the worst card here. It's not. I don't know why Lords suck in the Burn matchup. They're just terrible. I'm just thinking, do I bring in the last Harbinger of the Seas for a Lord of... Yeah, I hate Lords so much. My deck is a little chunky. Okay, deck is a little chunky. Chunkier than I want it to be. How many 1-drops do we have? 4, 8... Not many things for turn 1. It's okay. Not many things. Hand is good enough. Keep. It's going to be a little bit on the slow side. But, I mean, the interaction is there. If I were to force negate anything away, it's probably this Master of the Pearl Trident, because the Harbinger of the Seas and Tasha's Time Biter are more valuable. But. Oh yeah, actually it's even more valuable because this is a black-red deck. It's a black-red deck. They play Bump in the Night. Deal 3 damage to each opponent. Okay, I am an opponent. I am most certainly an opponent. Merfolk, do I want to expose a Lord for nothing here? I think the answer is no. And again, I sort of want to throw this thing away to a force negation if necessary. So I'll just be a little cautious here. Well, now with the fetch land, it's possible that we'll throw away the Harbinger of the Seas now. Take our turn. Oh, I guess there's a potential Searing Blaze at our upkeep. Nope. Not yet, at least. Okay, we'll just attack. I mean, it's not that critical that we get a third land, but I would appreciate it. Because otherwise we'll take the Vial up to 3. It's too bad we didn't have a land. I could snipe off this fetch land that's about to be fetched here. Almost certainly. Which would also support our Harbinger of the Seas. That's too bad we cannot save it. No, the Harbinger of the Seas are still going to be fine. They're still going to be valuable, but they're not as valuable now. Especially if our opponent follows it up with follows the turn up with what's it called? I'm going to slowly take all this damage. I lost my train of thought. I don't know. I don't know what I was concerned the opponent would follow it up with. Get a land. All things considered, I'm going to go Harbinger, so that if they kill one Harbinger, I got another Harbinger. Actually, what I can do is just play one, then hold the other one up. Okay, we'll play the other one. And now we're on a 2-turn clock. Or they're on a 2-turn clock. This is why I don't like the Lords. Like, what is outside of the Lord of just pumping up these creatures? Like, what is it doing? If I had another random creature, I think it'd be all the same and fine. I'll let this resolve. I don't think there's anything that can kill me for 5 life. Or maybe there is. Maybe there's that one card that's like you can't gain life, it can't be countered, but they also need to peel like their 1 basic mountain out of the deck. Because I think, generally speaking, burn decks only play with 2 basic mountains, at most. Okay, on the draw, does anything change? Disruptive Currents looks... The thing is, bounce is not that great. On the other hand, this is a flash card. This is a 3/3. That's about it. Just a reminder, you can bring in Mystical Dispute if you didn't have counter spells like Counterspell or Force of Negation or something. Like, if you're really starving for counter spells, I'd bring this in. Spend 3 to counter maybe a Lightning Bolt, even though and your opponent can't pay the 3. I think that's fine. But we have too many good cards, so I don't need it. Too many good cards. Too much good stuff. This hand's okay. Their hand looks better. Mountain Swiftspear is a good start. Very strong start. Okay, where's our champion? We need champion of the shoal. That's what we need. The champion of the shoal. To deal with this swift spear in the end. Oh, we're bumping. So I do like that Harbinger of the Seas does have still some value in that, like, we shut off the front end of Bump in the Night. It's not completely useless. Oh, the Mentor. Sure, let's play a Mentor. Why not? What am I doing here? Well, I'm in my main. Cast. Oh, maybe I showed the wrong ping. Okay. Show Mindspring Merfolk. Otherwise, if I want to block the Mentor, it's a bit expensive. It's a bit expensive to block the Mentor. So if we get Mindspring Merfolk in play, we can activate it immediately and more or less buff our team. I'm just in chump blocking mode here for the most part. Our opponent just lets us chump this Swift Spear once. That's fine with me. What's the backside? It's 6 mana. It's quite a bit away. We actually have a pretty good clock here. Skewer. That is okay. And actually, if they attack, I'll just double block. I have no problem with that. Permanently get rid of this Swift Spear. It's good enough for me. 3 power and 1 creature. Love it. Now, how to make the most of this Mind Spring? It might... I can activate it once right now, but I'm very... My clock is like so far. I have such a distant clock. And I think I want to draw more cards anyway. Okay, we're gonna attack for 3 because I'm gonna be a little sneaky with this Hex Catcher. Also because I think I need to. I'm hoping to get our opponent to like tap out to play a Skewer, and then we just like sacrifice one of these Mindspring Merfolks. Okay. Whereas if we have Hex Catcher on the board, our opponent knows exactly how to play around it perfectly. Okay, so now we do this. We'll leave the thing on 2 for now. Another Mindspring Merfolk, which is fine with me. I think what we're going to do is we're going to activate one Mindspring for 1. And we're going to leave a Mutavault up so I can sack the entire board if necessary. Did I just play Mutavault? No, yeah, that's fine. Actually, can't. Whoa. Let's not be crazy here. So what I can do is I can... How much am I attacking for? I'm attacking for 7? No, I'm attacking for 8. Oh, this is a lot better. Let's screw the cards. We don't need the cards. Everything on the board is fine. Yeah. Don't get greedy with cards. Just play at the hand, and now I have no idea how our opponent wins. I guess they can top deck that uncounterable card. Okay, they're going to draw. Swift Spear. You better believe I'm going to block that damn thing. Okay, they're not going to do anything. I'll just attack with everything. It should be lethal. No, I'll keep it still on 2. Every single time I like don't move the vial, I draw Champions of the Shoal. It's very funny. Merfolk. So we will attack. Okay, hold on. So I attack with everything. You block Mutavault. You attempt to kill this thing, but then I sack Mutavault and another thing, and you still take 6. It seems about right. Or hold on, you kill, or maybe it's you kill. You try to kill in advance. I sack 2 things. You block, you take 6. Okay. The mathed. My opponent says good game. I say good game back. All right. What is going on here? We're playing against like decks from 2018, basically, or even 2019. We're going back, I don't know, back to the basics, I suppose. I mean, this is not the future metagame that I was trying to play against, but I'll take the victories anyway. Everyone's trying to play the class. Like I said in the intro, the metagame is wonky because a lot, as you can see, people are trying to play old decks to see if the new cards can upgrade their old deck. I'm not exactly sure what new cards this deck is playing though. With that, this is round 4. We'll move on to round 5. We won the die roll. Unfortunately, we have another one-lander. We're doing a lot of mulliganing this league. We can keep this. Now the question is, do I want to keep the vial or not? I sort of want to keep the vial. I'm going to keep the vial. I'll dump a sink. And if we draw into another... If we draw into another island, then I'll just play it. Windswept Heath. What does that get these days? Or is it Boros? No, it's a green deck. Oh. Oh, Eldrazi. Or is it? Usually they play Utopia Sprawl and then named red if it's an Eldrazi deck. They didn't do that this time. I wish I had the extra land, but anyway, it doesn't. I can't do anything about it. The more mana efficient thing to do is attack with my Mutavault here. But then where and when am I playing my Mindspring Merfolk? If I'm ever playing my Mindspring Merfolk. So I'll play my Mindspring Merfolk. What is this my opponent is doing? Unfortunately, I don't have any Tide Shapers. I don't have any Spreading Seizes to punish this Utopia Sprawl, so it is allowed to do whatever it wants to do. So it is an Eldrazi deck. That's bad news. Because that means... So these decks, main deck, Kozilek's Return, which just wipes my board away. And the few ways I can prevent that is like countering this stupid thing, the Talisman of Impulse. Well, they didn't find it, but they could already have it. Their start is very good. This is like look at this turn too. How much mana they have? 6 mana. What is this? Titan? What is this? Titan or something? I think all things considered, I would like to draw some cards with my Mindspring Merfolk. All things considered. Okay, they don't want to block. I will put the Lord in play. And the good news here is that with the Lord in play, and with a counter on the Lord, it can't be killed by Kozilek's Return. This island is fine because on the following turn I can then draw 2 cards from our Mindspring the other Mindspring Merfolk. So I believe they got Worldbreaker. You cast the spell, exile target artifact. Well, I got an artifact. You want to exile it? How much mana do you have? This is 7 mana, so if they might have to sack their spawn to get to where they need to be, which I would actually accept that trade. Yep. All right. That's exactly what's going to happen. This is not bad actually. This board state's not bad because I'm going to play Harbinger of the Seas. I'll even have a I don't know what I'm going to do with that Dismember, but we're going to play Harbinger of the Seas. We're going to shut off most of the colorless mana, so Kozilek's command is offline. They only have one red. They only have one colorless. They have no. Sorry, they have red, but do I want to attack with this thing? Attack for 6. I'm still attacking for lethal next turn. It's fine. I don't know what I'm going to use this Dismember on, but I'm just going to keep it in my pocket. But thanks to Mindspring Merfolk beefing up my Master of the Pearl Trident, the Kozilek's return will not wipe my Master of the Pearl Trident and therefore protect my Harbinger of the Seas. So Kozilek's return and command both offline. Just randomly, like really randomly, and we win. Okay, cards that are good. Consigned Memory in the main deck is great. We didn't even see it. What else will be good? I can't remember if Tishana's Tidebinder is all that good in this matchup. It's like the thing is it's awkward. It's just awkward. The card sometimes works, the card sometimes doesn't. I think Counterspell is fine because it neutralizes things like Kozilek's return. But on the other hand, the opponent gets so many like those ETB triggers that's very frustrating. Definitely want Flood Pit's Drowner. I think Champions of the Shoal, this is a great spot for it. You know, they played Worldbreaker and then we played Champions and we just tap it and we can perpetually tap it for forever. Don't think that's going to work perfectly with Sire of Insanity, but I think it's okay. A lot of the stuff has you know, this Disruptor of Currents, I'm already seeing like there's a smidge of a problem with this thing. Okay, hold on, but we can return target non-land permanent to owner's hand. The biggest problem with this Disruptor of Currents is this is just an ETB metagame. Like everyone has ETBs, right? So whenever I bounce a creature, and it's a pretty creature-centered game, I am just giving my opponent second chances at ETBs. Okay, what's definitely not coming back? I definitely want another Harbinger of the Seas. Even though they can sort of play around it pretty well, I still want another one. Civil Guild Adept is fine. I think the Mentor is fine. Okay, Disruptor of Currents will ditch some of those. Ditch maybe a Hex Catcher. Do I want Force? Force Negation can counter Kozilek's Return, Command. Although if they play them on my turn, it's awkward. But I can also counter the Talisman, which I like. I like the idea of that, to be honest. What else? What else would it do? This can counter that. The Consigned Memory can counter the Talisman. How many creatures? I have 31. Like, I'm not that big of a fan of Hex Catcher. Probably not even that big of a fan of Silver Gilded Up, but okay, we'll bring in some forces. Sort of want to bring in Tishana's Tidebinder, but it's I don't know how to put it. Like, they're cast triggers, like you counter the cast trigger and then they still have a body at the end of it. Oh, but maybe it's good versus Fleshraker. I don't remember exactly what these decks look like. I still have some Dismembers. I should have sided out one, I think. This hand is a bit dubious. The plus side is as Mindspring Merfolk, and we have a bunch of lands. The downside is we have no control over our interaction. Like, we're just hoping off the top of our deck. I think I just prefer to mulligan. So this hand gives us a lot more certainty. I'm going to keep it, and we'll just throw away one Dismember. Ideally, we draw like a blue source so that I can consign like randomly anything. Nope, no Utopia Sprawl this time. Blue source? Blue source. Come at me with this stupid talisman crap. I'll counter it. I swear I will. I'll do it. You don't think I'll do it? I'm gonna do it. Damn, I can't counter that. On the other hand, I can dismember the token if I want. Is it worth it? Maybe, maybe not. Thinking. Okay, I'm going to dismember the token. Because I want to put Glasspool Mimic into play tapped. So I have the option to play Harbinger of the Seas on turn 3. Ooh, we have a lot of them. So now I've consigned to memory for like a random colorless card. And then also, if they just pass the turn, trying to play a Kozilek's Command, hopefully we draw one more land for Harbinger of the Seas. And then, oh no, they're gonna, oh, actually no, this is gonna be fine. Search your library for a land card. No, you're not. No, not while I'm around here. Sorry, buddy. You can have a 3/3 though. Now I just have to hope our opponent does not have Dismember. They played that bravely. So it can imply that they have Dismember. If they don't, it's probably game. Because we'll play another Harbinger of the Season. That'll be it. Unless they can top deck a Forest to play Utopia Sprawl on red, and then Kozilek's Return everything. That has happened to me many times. Ghost Quarter. It's interesting. They're already preparing for big problems. I guess we hold the Sink in our hand. There's no point. If I really need it next turn, I can still play it and play Silvergill Adepta and Lord of Atlantis. Another one. As if we don't have enough of them. Let's play this. Player Lord. Crash in for 6. They would have to dismember Lord of Atlantis. And then block. And even then, it still wouldn't be that bad of a spot. Well, they're playing to their outs, but their outs are drawing up super quick. There's too many Harbinger. This is I probably shouldn't have done that. Should have played just Ether Vial. Not that it meant. Like, how can I lose here? Forest. Then you have to tap the Forest to put Utopia Sprawl. And our opponent goes, good game. What a wonderful way to start off the Lorwyn metagame with a 5-0. All right, we got our 5-0 here. It's official. It's officially a 5-0 deck. Yeah, is this it? Upgraded. Yeah, this is our upgraded deck. All right, what can we say about this archetype? So first off, Silvergill Mentor, instant staple. Like, I knew just looking at this that it would be so good, interact so well with the deck, would be a fantastic synergy. It's just I'm not really hungry for more things to play on turn 2, but if I'm going to play something on turn 2, it's something that adds more bodies to the board for our Hex Catcher or our Lords, and you know, additional blockers. We gang block that Psychic Frog. Anyway, so I'm a huge fan of this Silvergill Mentor. A card that I think also performed very well is Champions of the Shoal. Maybe we need like more experience with this because, of course, I was had it a lot when I had Ether Vial. How good of a card is it when I always have to exile something from my hand or the board? That is to be seen. But when it hits the battlefield, I'm just borderline winning. I'm either winning or my opponent has to kill this thing with 2 cards, and they 2-for-1 themselves. So I really like the look of Champion of the Shoal. The card that actually was very disappointing was Disruptor of Currents, mostly because, like, what am I bouncing? What do I want to bounce? Eldrazi's? Do I want to bounce a Bowmaster? I mean, I guess I could bounce like a Bowmaster token, and it's like a smidge more expensive than I want it to be. And it will not be the end of playtesting this card or these cards. But definitely the cards that impressed me the most off the bat were Silvergill Mentor and Champions of the Shoal. And don't change that dial, because you better believe I'll be back with blue-white Merfolk. That's right. So I'm sure people want to see how those white cards also interact in Modern. And you know what? We got to find out. But if I were to be building this deck, I honestly, my only changes to this thing would be like remove the Disruptor of Currents, maybe add 1 more champion and another Silvergill Adept, and you know what? The deck is good to go. Give a thumbs up. Want to buy the cards? Well, go check out all my sponsors below. And yeah, this has been Nikachu, Merfolk Master, getting a 5-0 in the new Lorwyn metagame.